It's time to wake up, the show is about to start. With lots of stories of goo and a bit of heart. When it comes to Joanne, no, you won't find no faults. But if you mess with the bull, you might get the shows. It's time for Mornin', it's Mornin' with Bill and Joe. It's time for Mornin', it's gonna be a heck of a show. It's Bill and Joe.
Hello and welcome to Mornin' with Bill and Joe. I'm Joe.
I guess that means I'm Bill?
I'm
Bill. I should have done the question mark.
Well, welcome to any new listeners we have. This is very exciting. Bill,
Yes.
We have been doing this podcast now for almost 7 years.
Well, there was one good year where I was doing it without you. So, yeah, 7 for you.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
But now we have always been a video podcast, but now we have broken into the audio space. Very exciting. Hopefully, if you are listening on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, we sound good. I typically look better than I sound, so you can also catch us on YouTube.
Valid. She sounds as annoying as her inner soul is, but I've been told she's pretty. Again, don't see beauty.
Right.
But yeah, that's accurate. And actually, everything I just said, I realize is bad if we're only on audio because I have a really annoying nasal voice.
Yeah, maybe we
So
should
I regret that comment.
some speech and diction classes for you, maybe a voice teacher.
Too little, too late. You went to both we're getting a little ahead of ourselves because we're going to reintroduce ourselves, but you went to both a theater high school as well as a theater driven college. I went to Emerson, but I just went there for print. I still had to take voice and articulation. That was like a requirement for everyone, no matter what the major. And listen to how I sound.
I like to imagine it wasn't a requirement for everyone, but your teachers just could not stand the sound of your voice, that they pretended it was necessary.
I did used to have a thicker Chicago accent. You might be accurate on that.
Well, sort of to that point, for those of us who don't know us or just tuning in for the first time, we thought we should reintroduce ourselves. Let's start, though, Bill, with what this show is. So we've always said, Mornin' is the anti-morning morning show. We've all seen them. You know, it's Kelly and now Mark. We like to say there's just as much hostility between us as there is between them, but we're not married.
Yeah, no, that's accurate. Although I give off more of a Regis than a Mark, but yes, you're accurate.
Yeah, that's true. A little older and more frail.
All right.
We love Pee-wee's Playhouse. So it's sort of like if Pee-wee's Playhouse was in a methadone clinic, we've described ourselves as.
Yes.
And you love the show Pardon the Interruption.
Yes, I've been trying to urge you to watch the documentary on it because you don't have to like anything about sports or anything like that. I think you would like the inception of the show, which no one thought would be a hit. It's been on ESPN for well over 20 years. I think even more so now that you and I have found our way into the YouTube sphere, we have become even more Pardon the Interruption, which is essentially Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser, who are longtime sports columnists, and everyone in their office when they were at the Washington Post would just gather around and listen to them argue. And that was the inception of the show. They would have guests for maybe a segment for 5 minutes, but it was just the back and forth with topics rapid fire coming up on the right. And that was it. And no one thought it'd work, but it worked.
Yeah. So I guess you could say we are a bit inspired by that. We do cover some current events, some pop culture stuff.
Sure.
But really, it's the news that interests us, which is a lot of poop-related stories.
Yeah.
Animal-related stories. Anything that has to do with Chicago-based sports teams for you.
Well, you already said your poop stuff, so I get that. Yeah. That's my mulligan.
And sometimes we will do interviews with guests, if someone has a new book out, if they're a comedian, they have something to plug or promote. But also, they're just kind of friends of ours who we have dubbed correspondents.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we had Mike Baker, who was our security blanket, former CIA operative, and he would talk about all things international intrigue. And it really, like, if you wanted to know what's going on with Israel and Hezbollah right now, that would be our security blanket correspondent, Mike Baker. But one of my favorites that I think I was most proud of when it comes to you and me, of course, is our religion correspondent.
Yes.
Lucian Greaves, who is, he's been on any time you want to see contrarian about anything going on religion-wise, he would go on. He is the head of the Satanic Temple, based in Salem, Massachusetts, and they are very tongue-in-cheek. Although they're what they do is very serious. It's about freedom of religion in all manner of religions. They would put up a very obnoxious statue of their god. I can never pronounce his name, but it's a horned goat god of the Satanic Temple next to the Ten Commandments and the courthouse, stuff like that. But Lucian Greaves was our religion correspondent. And so we would have correspondence like that.
Yeah. And it really just, it adds to the overall zhuzh of the show.
I'm assuming that's French, and well done for sounding smart.
Now, for anyone listening, you might think I hate Bill. You're not wrong about that. But I think it would be wise to kind of explain how we got here, how we ended up working together, and sort of the bios about us.
Yes.
And because we know each other so well, I thought it would be nice if we introduced each other.
By the way, I am kind of happy about this idea that sounds familiar as to one that maybe I came up with first.
No.
But it was absolutely your idea to do it on our inaugural new version of the show. Joe, do you want to go first on doing my bio?
Sure.
It's up to you. You came up with it.
I'll start, but there will be an opportunity for rebuttal or clarification.
No, I'm going to mute your mic.
Okay. So Bill Dawes Schultz.
Oh, by the way, I love that we're going to do middle names.
I love that. I almost just called you Bill William Schultz.
William.
That would be
Bill
great.
Bill is short for William.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, my name
William
is William
Dawes Schultz was born on a blistery night in the burbs of Chicago. Oh, yeah, you were born in August, weren't you? Damn it. I'm already screwing up.
Right, what's up?
Bill is the oldest of 3 boys. He is the favorite ?
Okay.
He grew up loving all these Chicago sports teams, like the White Sox and the Bulls. He went to one of those famous Bulls games, I believe, in the 90s. Am I correct?
They were all famous, baby.
They were all. You're right. You're right about that. Bill has always loved toys. He loved Transformers and other boy toy things. And guess what? He still has them. They are all, if you're only listening, you are missing the beautiful image of all of these toys collected in a bookshelf right behind him. He went on to pursue a beautiful degree in print journalism at Emerson College. As we know, or as we knew then, print would never go out of style. So he decided this is a wise life choice.
I hate you.
So he went and he studied there and he got his degree. And then he thought, I know, I'll be a wild success in New York City. So he traversed over to New York. I don't know what this voice is that I'm doing.
Yeah, seriously.
He came to New York and he worked at Lad Mags. For our Gen Z listeners who don't know what Lad Mags are, they are magazines for lads, for gentlemen, with content and pictures that would interest dudes. So Bill worked there for a while where he met a guy named Greg Gutfeld. And Greg was then starting a show at Fox News Channel called Red Eye, a satirical, let me say that again, satirical late night news show that featured not just conservatives, but libertarians, liberals, lots of different people.
Yes, yeah. Especially very well said. In this day and age, we really need to define our terms as far as what.
Yes, if you've never heard of the show, it's because it aired at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so
well,
Bill was on this show, and he was sort of the liberal wet blanket of the show. He did a lot of man on the street segments and a lot of really great journalism. Really great.
you're being sarcastic. Okay, go ahead.
Well, then Bill was, quote, on vacation, and
Sure.
then Joanne Nosachinsky, that's me, you guys. Joanne Nosachinsky came in to, quote, fill in for him, and then got his permanent spot on the TV show.
Wow. Succubus.
Yes. So while Bill was off in the corner licking his wounds, he was approached to do a podcast, and he did. It was not a success. So when he found out that Joanne had left Fox News Channel, a fan on Twitter pointed it out, suggested that she be a guest on the podcast. She, only bartending with nothing else to do, decided to go on and became Bill's co-host. And here we are many, many years later.
That's pretty good. All right. I will allow you to interrupt because I do have a problem of interrupting you too much.
Okay.
That I'm working on. But okay, so here is Joanne, no middle name given at birth, Nosachinsky, now Goodhart.
Yeah, I got married.
I still maintain that I like Nosachinsky. So her new name's Goodhart. Born in 1988 in what most people, I believe in the magazine known as National Geographic, call the asshole of New Jersey, Freehold.
Ooh, no, it's the armpit, Bill.
Okay, sure. I'll take that. I already had a much better, slightly older sister by the name of Mary. She always had views that were as crooked as her spine, although she was always living with scoliosis, people, not dying from it.
That's right.
But always had a lot more gumption than height, and was a talented little scamp, and had a early love for theater that first presented itself in high school and on to college. And as she knew, moving into the big bag city of New York, it might help with her auditions if she did something that was, at the time, I think, you tell me, kind of off-brand for you. She's like, you know what? I'm going to go for the Miss USA, which is better, as you always tell me, version of Miss New York. And goddamn it, she won.
That's right.
And that's sort of in our story where she takes over my job, I believe maliciously. And from there, she would get a bunch of other roles while working as an on-air correspondent for Fox News. She went from the Red Eye Show to Gutfeld, which I believe has an exclamation point, and then left that to pursue more auditioning and bartending. And then that's how our paths crossed. She's also a bit of a fecophile, hates all people, but really hates pets. Is
not wrong.
Really just a cold, prickly, and not a great person.
Okay.
But I mean, honestly, and this is true. Because of all those reasons, I oddly adore her. I unfortunately am a big fan of yours.
Yeah,
as much of an
you.
asshole as you are.
Thank you. We all have an asshole, Bill.
Well, in my case, I have two. The one I'm sitting on and the thing in front of me.
That is so sweet.
You're welcome.
So yeah, that's a little bit about us. We have been really fortunate to kind of get a really good fan base. And one of our favorite fans is a guy who goes by 5Fan Photoshop on social media.
And really coworker.
Yeah, we always say he's the third co-host of Mornin. We are silly for segments on this show.
Yes.
They have beautiful graphics. So if you are just listening, we do recommend you head on over to YouTube to check them out. But, oh gosh, some of our great segments. All I want to do is take a poo.
Shockingly, that's on her.
And I created a song to Sheryl Crow's All I Want to Do. So parody song. We also have other great graphics. Oh my gosh. There's Bare Minimum
Yes.
TikTok people, Duddy, and hopefully, if you're listening, we'll get to all of those.
Well, and a duddy is a study that's obvious.
It's a
So
dust study.
yeah.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
not
yeah.
a think piece people.
Nope.
And trolley pads, I love. Oh my God, there's so many. We never use it enough. I am so obsessed with verbal crutches because everyone has them and uses them so much, and it changes with every year on what people in media use and the young people use. I
Sure.
should use that more often. But that's a very literal one where Joe and I are both on crutches, full of words we both say. These are the kind of little fun Easter eggs Five Fan puts into all of our images.
And also seasonally, we have some really
Yes.
beautiful art and graphics, which we'll also put on our social media. So you should check us out at Mornin, Bill, and Joe to see all that goodness. But at the start of each show, Bill, we usually like to say how our week has gone, anything new that we're up to. What do you have for me?
Well, okay, I was actually before we were doing this, but then I'm like, we're focusing on the audio thing. I was going to go outside and show you some and this is kind of breaking news, but boring
Okay.
news, but it's annoying for me. As you know, I live very close to the UN,
Yes.
and right now the General Assembly is going on. And I wanted to show you, and it's very difficult for me to get video off my crappy phone anymore, but I was going to take some pictures to just show you what the people that live in this neighborhood go through when this happens. Now, right now is okay, and it's not awesome. Blocks and blocks are closed. There are Secret Service people, we don't even, snipers, what have you, cops everywhere. Tomorrow, I believe Zelensky's coming. At some point, Netanyahu's coming. And I think on one of those same days, Biden will be here. And he's always a block away from me. So as you can imagine, nothing happens here. Everything sucks. And these people that come and visit with heads of state where they get nothing done at the UN, they have 1 million people that come with them. They all pay with change, and they're all wearing weird, smelly suits, and they're just all over the place. And that's my update, I guess.
So you
That's
wanted
what
to
living in Turtle Bay is like right now.
You wanted to just show us video of people going to work.
No, I wanted to show you video of people trying to go to work and unable to via multiple blockades and security and cops everywhere.
Yes, but Bill, if you were one of these UN ambassadors, wouldn't you want that security? Put yourself in their shoes, in their nice Italian leather loafers.
And you know what? No matter what they do, they don't have to pay for a parking ticket. They don't have to pay for parking. They don't have to pay for speeding.
And honestly, Bill, from working in restaurants, a lot of them don't have to pay tax. They do not have to pay tax on their meal.
And I thought you were going to say that they don't tip. I didn't know about the tax thing.
Oh, yeah. A lot of them are tax exempt. Unless I'm not thinking of UN officials.
No, I think you're right. That sounds about right.
But yeah, they show you like a card that says they're tax exempt. You then get in the weeds because you have to take this card, go to your manager. They need to either input the number, they have to photocopy it, send it off. And it's a whole big thing. I know. Well, gosh, the things we complain about. First world problems?
So okay, you're right. These are we sound elitist, but I will be not elitist by talking about the people that work in my neighborhood as waitresses or bartenders. That's what I thought you were going with. That complain constantly about these a-holes never tipping. Because man, that's not their country's thing. No, they know you're supposed to tip in America, and they know that it's cheaper here to get a drink or whatever type of food because we rely on tips, or the service industry does, and they don't do it.
Right. Yes, I have worked in the service industry for 10 plus years. And I guess with the algorithm, sometimes I still go on Facebook just to see what my aunts are up to. And there are a lot of posts lately about people who aren't tipping or tipping culture. And I have a theory. Everyone who is on Facebook has never worked in the service industry because all of the comments all of them are like, your employer should give you a better hourly. We shouldn't have to tip so you can make a living wage.
Oh, gotcha.
You should, your employer should be giving you more. And it's people who don't understand how, I don't know, the economy or restaurants work, because guess what? If they pay us more, your $20 burger is now going to be $45.
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah.
So I don't know how I got on this tangent, but tip people.
It was my fault.
Yeah. But, exciting news. I just got to quit all of my restaurant jobs.
Yes.
I'm not going to say what the play is yet because it hasn't been publicly announced. Like, I haven't signed my contract yet. I sign it on like a certain day. But I am understudying 2 very large roles in a play.
I'm very excited.
That is off Broadway here in New York City. And it is a lot of work. I'm very glad I quit my jobs so that I can
memorize all of it.
Spend all day memorizing. But it is interesting, Bill, like when you're tasked with such a huge project, it feels like you can't, like it's not possible.
Yeah.
But, the brain is good. At least mine is.
All right.
And I am memorizing. So I'm more
How
of
do
a
you do
visual. I'm more of a visual learner. I don't have a photographic memory, but the more I see things.
Well, that's because you can't read. I mean, you're functionally illiterate.
Yeah. I'm memorizing the shapes of the words. By looking at them, I'll remember where some words are on the page. That's kind of helpful. But then I've also recorded, like in voice memos, the whole scene, and then I'll just listen to it as well. So it's just like another layer of learning. The only sometimes issue with that is that if you are memorizing the way something sounds, sometimes you only deliver it that way, which is a bad habit to get into in theater. You shouldn't just be saying something the same way all the time because it feels kind of false. But yeah, so I've been memorizing and it's going really well.
Well, I can say something that will not give away what this project is, but it's a big deal. And actually, I won't even say that because it gets into my thing. So your lovely husband sent out a giant text thing saying to all of the people that you kind of consider friends or people you hate, like me, do not reply to this thing.
Yeah.
But this is the text group when Joanne gets the call that she's doing one or the other parts. You'll know right away, and then we can make something happen. Now, I know you would think, oh, Bill's going to be the idiot that would reply to all of that. I did not. But I always thought that I had Douglas's number. Apparently I did not. But one person did reply.
Yeah.
And I thought singularly replied to Douglas and said, listen, even if it's last minute, I'm there. I live very close to wherever this might be happening. And don't tell that little brat that you're married to how proud I am of her. But I think I sent it to the person that replied singularly, who I have no idea who that person is.
That is so
I don't think I sent it to Douglas.
Yeah, so we have a friend who was the understudy for Josh Gad in Gutenberg the Musical on Broadway.
Sure.
And he got to go on one day. Josh wasn't like feeling well. So he went on, and his wife in a group text was like, he's going on in an hour and a half. Get a ticket if you can, get to the theater. And I did. And I was able to make it work. But she gave Douglas the suggestion, because apparently she was scrambling when this happened. Sometimes you don't get a lot of notice if you're going on. But she wanted to tell all of his friends to like get there if they could. So she gave him the idea of start a group text so that if Joanne goes on, you can just send, like, everything's already in one spot.
Great idea.
So you can just tell them right away. And then that way too, people aren't like texting me, like they have a point of contact.
You got to focus.
Because I would be busy like preparing.
Yeah.
And but I was helping him formulate the text because also, there's like his mother is on it. Like there are some other people, and he's like, I don't want everyone to like be, going back and forth on this text chain.
He was very clear. Don't reply.
Yes.
And I didn't.
Yes.
I just tried to text him, but I think I replied to the person.
But our one friend, Lindsay, I think and this shows you who reads a text to the end and who does not. Yeah. Because she just was so excited when she saw it that she immediately said something.
I think it was just yay.
And she felt, but she felt bad. She's like, please don't remove me from the text chain. And then we have another friend who liked the text.
And then got rid of it. I saw that.
Then realized she shouldn't have liked it and unliked it. So I don't know. It's kind of funny, but very exciting. I mean, it will be a real bummer if I never get to perform one of the roles. It's a short run, so there's less opportunity, but I am understudying 2 people. I mean, even if I never get to go on, just this experience is so incredible, getting to work with these women in the room. And this is one of my favorite plays. If you're an OG fan and you've been listening for years, over the last year, I've mentioned this play a few times, so you might know what it is, but stay tuned. In the coming weeks, I'll share more about it.
I hate even telling you that I did this because it's like a pat on the back for you, which longtime viewers will know I'm not a fan of. But I have looked into the plot of this play.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting.
Yeah.
I have to say, it's an original. I've never heard of anything like it.
Yeah.
But, I'm excited.
Yeah. So I've been busy with that. And also, Bill, it's birthday month.
I added to our stories, as actually I have been for the last 3 weeks, your birthday month graphic. So there you go. And we're getting close.
We are, yes. So it is birthday month. I enjoy celebrating a full month. I love telling people when my birthday is. It gives just opportunity, Bill. I have so many friends. So it gives an opportunity for everyone to celebrate me, reach out to me, get together.
Wow. Wow. There's no way to put that into a flattering light, even though I know you raised your voice a little to make it sound cute. No, this is sociopathy is what this is. So. Yeah, no one has a birthday month, Joe. Please understand that.
There are people listening or watching who appreciate a birthday month.
Well, nobody.
But to cap off the birthday month, well, also because my birthday is at the end of the month. It's the 26th of September. I'm a Libra. I like to, it's a warm up. It's a warm up for the big event. And the big event is Douglas and I will be going to Atlantic City.
Oh, my God.
Because another fun fact about me, I love penny slots. I love slot machines. I love watching videos of people playing slot machines.
What is wrong with you?
I clearly don't have enough dopamine. It's a dopamine hit. Okay. Yeah. So I watch that and it makes me feel good. And so now I am going to go. I have a comped room because I went by myself in March.
I remember that.
And I apparently spent enough money to get a room comped. So it's going to be so much fun.
Well, this brings up a good opportunity to discuss for new people listening, another graphic of ours called Joanne Ma.
Yes.
And that would be a graphic of Joanne, but aged.
Yeah, it's because I'm an old soul and a lot of my views are very grandma-like.
Yes, all of them, one might say.
Yeah, a bit reserved. The little things make me happy. Give me a butterscotch, all of that. I'm a grandma.
By the way, I didn't mention in my... maybe I did, in my short little bio of yours, your love of true crime. But when you were making fun of me about my toys, you're going to love this. So something's going on with New York, by the way, because it normally would take me this long to get a new roommate. I still haven't got one. But I've been showing the place a bit. But a little bit of it has been on not having them come live and just check out the place, but doing it over camera. One of them was this guy, clearly young. How do I put this? He clearly wasn't born in America. But he seems to be doing well for himself, and that's all I care about. And towards the end of, I think, our second conversation, maybe with video, but the first time definitely was when I showed him the place, he asked me, Bill, all right, it's you, and how many kids do you have? And I'm like,
oh my God.
Wait, what? I was like, wait, no, it's just me. He's like, I was like, oh, maybe you're thinking of another place that you looked at. He's like, no, I thought that you had the kids too. And I was like, no. And then I started quickly doing math. He saw my old toys and thought that I was a divorcee that perhaps spent time with my kids here.
Wow. Yeah. If anyone has seen, let me paint the visual for those who are only listening. If you've seen the film 40-Year-Old Virgin, not far off.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Look, they're vintage for starters. I cannot emphasize this enough. These are not new toys. It's not like I'm going out to Toys R Us, which I don't believe exists anymore. Sorry, FAO Schwartz. And hanging out with kids every day and buying new toys. These are things I grew up with that I think are collector's items now. And wonderful conversation starters. So, I mean, yeah, it's not like I'm sitting here with, like, I don't even know what kids play with now. See, that's how not a pedophile I am. But these are old toys, very old. Don't shake your head at me.
Sure, but they're not in their boxes, Bill.
That's because I played with them as a kid, like someone who's not a virgin. The virgins keep them in their box, Joe.
That's fair. Hey,
don't patronize me.
Speaking of toys, we do have a great segment called "Let's Hear It for My Toy."
Basically, based on my love of the toys I grew up with, which I grew up in the best era because all the toys that I grew up with, people still play with.
Speaking of toys you played with when you were a kid, Tamagotchis are back. That's right. Those
Not
little,
my generation.
like egg-shaped virtual pets are back. I think this really is a part of the nostalgia train that is of my generation, the millennials. Mm-hmm. And they've apparently done some new things with them. Like there's like an online capability.
Joe, I'm sorry to interrupt for a second, but correct. And I hate the fact that I know this about you and I remember you talking about it, but I recall you saying that you were no good with this thing because you would just get lazy and forget about your little Tamagotchi and it would die like that. Because you wouldn't feed it or whatever you're supposed to do with that thing. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Here's what happened. I did have Tamagotchis growing up.
Tamagotchi.
The thing is, there's like 3 functions that you do with it.
3?
You feed it, you clean up its poop, and you play with it.
How's that
It's like
fun?
a little game. You do little things to like a pet or like a child. You need to care for this living thing. So a few years ago, a coworker, as a sort of a joke, got me a Tamagotchi. And I was really excited. I was like, oh man, this is so great. And then I quickly realized how awful this little toy is because I kept getting notifications that I had to clean its poop or feed it or play with it. And I couldn't figure out how to turn it off or how to take a pause in the game. It's just another thing to care for, which is actually not fun.
I never got it.
It's
but
not
also,
fun.
did you like the poop part?
Well, what's really funny is that if you don't clean up its poop, it's just then like a screen full of poop. It's just like sitting and they look like little Hershey Kisses. It's really funny. But anyways, yeah. So for those who don't know, I've never had a real pet.
No.
I am not a pet person.
No.
I don't love animals.
At all.
I understand why other people do, but I didn't grow up around them. So I don't know how to act around them. I find them unpredictable and they're not for me.
They're
I won't
not.
yuck your
and
yum.
Again, for the new time people, I strongly encourage you to I think you could just Google image search Joanne Nosachinski. It's a tough spell. That's her maiden name. when she was a Miss New York, and her going to some sort of like adopt a pet type thing and just watch and look and enjoy the pictures of her attempting to look natural while holding a puppy. And she's basically strangling them while trying to do her pageant smile. And it's amazing. And it gives you a good beginner's take on what a sociopath she is. So I invite everyone to do that.
If I may defend myself.
No.
I believe it was an event for the ASPCA.
Okay.
They had like a gala, which was cool, but I also had to like go to the actual like pet shelter for photo ops. I had just gotten a spray tan, so I'm a delightful shade of orange.
Yes, I remember that.
And what's crazy is that it was a jewelry collab. So there was a jeweler who was making ASPCA Adopt a Pet jewelry, and I was meant to pose with both the puppies and the jewelry, which I've never held a dog before.
Clearly.
Because, again, I didn't grow up with a pet, and I'm not going to go up to random pets on the street and be like, can I hold your animal? No. So they just like, but I also, as an actor who studied improv, sure, I can hold a dog. Yeah, why not? And so they put this dog in my arms, and it's a puppy. It wiggles. It's, it's hyper, it's active. And at one point, it jumped out of my arms, and I was in my very high platform shoes. So that dog jumped a long way down. And I see the look of fear on these workers' eyes, because I then learned, unlike cats, dogs are not really supposed to jump from a height because they could injure themselves. So they were really scared one of them might have broken their paw. Thank God they didn't. But after that, they were like, we'll just have the worker hold the animal and you can pose next to it with the jewelry. And I was like, all right, sounds great.
Honestly,
we all win.
There's a lot more of that. And even that looks awkward. Most of the ones that I saw was afterwards, after you'd already crippled that dog. No one believes you when you said that he didn't break his paw.
No.
And it's you on the ground, just sort of like, pretending like you're a human being and failing. And this poor puppy probably getting asphyxia. I don't know if I said that correctly. But losing its breath because you're holding it raw and choking it. But yeah, that's you representing New York as the pageant winner.
Honestly, it's probably the main reason I did not win Miss USA. The judges got their hands on these pictures. I imagine Miss Arkansas took all the. Actually, no, I liked Arkansas. So yes, let's hear it for my toy just turned into trolling pets. There you have it, folks.
As it does. One always blends into another.
It sure does. Do we want to do a little all I want to do is take a poo?
Yeah. No, I don't want to do that, of course. And I will also add that based on the graphic, which is Joe in the middle of a party, taking a big old dump on a toilet, this goes back to a reoccurring dream that she has where the only toilet available at a party she's at is at the middle of the party. And she's like, well, gotta do it.
Yeah.
Do you still have that dream?
Yeah, we all have reoccurring dreams. Mine is always that I'm at a party and I have to go to the bathroom and I ask the host like where it is. And they just point to the middle of the room. And it's either a toilet or it's like an armchair. It's like, wait, am I supposed to just release my bladder on this chair? And then I do. And as I'm doing it, I realize I'm not supposed to be doing this. Or it's like I'm mid-conversation with someone. I haven't had this dream recently, but every once in a while, which also, Bill, makes me think that in a past life, I was born in the time when like they had chamber pots because they sometimes made them look like little, chairs.
Well, yeah, they did. And also like, it's more a French thing than a British or colonist thing. But really like in Versailles, the fanciest of the fancy that would hang out right next to and would party with Louis the 14th and 15th, truly lift the skirt or take off the trousers, they would piss in the corner of the Palace of Versailles. Sometimes they'd go outside, but yeah, I mean, I think at the time they had like indoor water closets, as they would call them, that, and there'd be a hole and they'd go down to the beautiful garden, but they wouldn't do it. They'd just pee and sometimes poop in a corner.
Yes, Bill really enjoys history, which is why you'll hear lots of fun history facts.
It's a
but
fact.
Bill, it sounds like you are trying to recreate history. You have, gone to the bathroom where you shouldn't have. Yes?
I have a checkered past, and by checkered I mean it's laced with yellow and sometimes brown colors. But yeah, sure. I'd like to think that I'm more of an adult now and would never do such a thing. But yeah, whether it be a dare or just publicly peeing, or I don't know, say you're in Central Park and there's a lot of shrubbery and
oh God, Bill, you could get arrested.
not yet. Well, not wood.
Boy. Well,
hey, you brought it up.
All I want to do is take a poo. A health department has been praised for It's Okay to Poo at Work campaign, saying let it out. So this is a campaign from Queensland Health, apparently in Australia.
I know Queensland
Australia.
Very well.
My accents are awful.
Sure are.
An Instagram video featured the statement, "It's okay to poo at work," over a montage of Lisa Frank images of dolphins, rainbows, and unicorns. It has 22,000 likes and thousands of comments. Basically, lots of people find it difficult to poo in public toilets. But we're here to tell you it's definitely okay to go number 2 at work, reads the caption. They say consistently ignoring your need to poo can lead to stool getting stuck in your colon, hemorrhoids, and other serious issues. So it's better to let it out than hold it in. If you find it extremely difficult to poo around other people, you might have parcopresis? I've never heard of this word.
Well,
it's
that's probably
poo
not
paranoia.
a word because you mispronounced it. So whatever it really is.
How is it pronounced?
I've never heard of it, so I don't know, but I know you mispronounced it.
Now, if you don't poo when you should, you could have an increased heart rate, sweating, or nausea. To alleviate poo paranoia or anxiety, the health department suggests people remember that everyone poos and to visualize someone famous on the toilet like Taylor Swift. Other recommendations include avoiding food or drink that might trigger your bowels and bringing a small fragranced spray in the toilet with you. And to breathe deeply or do a short meditation exercise. I don't recommend breathing deeply in the bathroom, maybe before you go in.
Valid.
Bill, I don't need humor to talk about poo. I
Sure.
think that is actually the problem, the fact that we can't talk about it without it being funny. I would have preferred if Queensland Health just showed a big old picture of a poo and was like, just do it. Let's get Nike involved.
But that would have been humor. That would have been fun and funny.
Oh, I guess so. I'm just naturally funny.
But like that whole campaign is for women. Because
okay, go on.
Guys, pardon the pun, and I was about to say it, now I realize it is a pun, but guys don't give a shit. I think guys, all right, I will say this. If it's an office where it's a unisex bathroom, I think guys would care if they like had a crush on a girl or multiple girls or just wanted to not look like they just did a nasty thing. They wouldn't want any girl to come in afterwards and know what they did. All right, that's valid. But other than that, this is more a message for women than it is for guys.
Yeah, this will surprise no one, but I have no shame.
Yes.
If I have to go, I have to go.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it can be uncomfortable if it's a noisy trip to the bathroom and there's someone else in there.
Yes.
Because typically, especially if it's like a one-person bathroom, you blame it on the person before you.
Of course.
If someone's going in after you, you're like, oh, sorry, someone really destroyed that bathroom. But yeah, we all do it. And I think instead of thinking of Taylor Swift, the good thing to do is to think about how amazing you will feel when you're done.
And it's all out, yes.
As opposed to holding it in, think about how much lighter, how good your pants will fit when you are done in the bathroom.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Would you recall having a boyfriend or any type of relationship? How long do you wait where you just don't care when you're with them and you're like, catch you later, gonna go do A, B, and C? I mean, obviously you don't announce it, but it's gonna be clear that you did. Like, what's the cutoff point? I always thought that the whole you have to wait 3 dates before you have sex thing was ridiculous. But how many dates do you wait before you're fine with just being like about to take a dump?
Well, I am more of a 3-date plus person,
Ridiculous.
so I wouldn't be pooing in their home unless I had stayed over, you know? So I think as soon as you have sex, I think poo is acceptable. You
Okay.
know, it's like, it's another level of intimacy.
Well, I hate to. This is how long that Joe and I have known each other. I know that her constitutional is pretty, and you're good like that. It's right away in the morning. I know when you
Yeah,
do it. So if you're staying over to Guy's place, he's gonna get to know that real quick.
totally. Or else oh, I have something to do. I have to go do work, and I would get out of there real quick and go to the Dunkin' Donuts across the street. But um
I've done that actually.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
like it's not just a girl thing. Like if I have just started hooking up with a girl like relatively frequent, like it wasn't like a relationship thing yet, I'm not doing that at her place as much as there have been times where I've wanted to. Yeah. Yeah, like maybe I'm a girl like that, but yeah, too soon, too soon.
yeah, I think early on having a little spray or even just matches. Just the matches are a good idea. You light one, you flush it, and it neutralizes any odor.
I never thought that far
Gosh,
ahead.
it's so nice that I don't have to worry about that.
And that's the
Um,
good thing about marriage.
yeah, my husband and I have been together for 9.5 years, and yeah, we are very open. We still close the door when the other one is doing number two.
I have dated girls that stopped doing that.
Yeah, have some mystery in your relationship.
But see, this is why I was a good boyfriend. Because even then, I mean, that was a bit much. But even then, I'm like, adorable. Like, when a guy does it, I don't like it when guys fart around me. I think it's rude. Uh, but like, I've dated girls that'll fart, and I'm like, that's cute. That's cute. I don't know why I think it's cute with your gender, and I think it's disrespectful when my gender does it. But that's why I was a good boyfriend. That's the only reason I was a good
Well,
boyfriend.
I don't mind a fart. I don't, and
Yeah, so
clearly
very
I've
clear
just
on
talked
that.
about poop a whole ton. I'm not trying to be demure or cute
You're a
about it.
belcher. Douglas is a farter.
Yeah, I don't fart. I sometimes I wish I could, but I burp. It comes up the other end, and I don't know which is more disgusting, honestly.
And see, I always think girls belching is cute too. But yeah, I always remember you telling me too that like early on in your relationship, Douglas would kindly go into another room if you held a fart coming on. But
Yeah.
then after a while, you guys got so comfortable with each other that totally changed.
There is nothing sweeter than when the person you are seeing early on is trying to do something thoughtful, but you know it. Like I would still hear him. Like he would leave the room, but I would still hear it. But I was like, that is so thoughtful that he is trying for me not to hear it.
See, I
You
would
know?
do that. I guess I was just bad at every other thing, but I was good at that stuff.
Sure.
More patronizing, but yeah, I always thought that was cute.
All
Again,
right.
he
Well,
doesn't do that anymore, people.
oh no, he just farts right in front of me.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we are running out of time / I have to go poo. I
Nice.
don't. Bill, what do you have coming up? Do you have any fun plans? Anything exciting?
Um, Nick Gillespie's got a wedding coming up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Boy, finance-wise, I'm already worried about it. But that will be fun. Oh, and also, like, I didn't read the fine print, and I'm taking our mutual pal and kind of a correspondent of ours by the name of Lawrence Vaughn, and she's like, Bill, it's a white wedding. I hope you're sitting for this brainbuster. I don't have any, I don't have white pants or anything.
It's a white wedding?
Do you have to, wear, I don't know.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, everyone's supposed to wear, white stuff, I guess.
That's fascinating. I suggest you go to Goodwill. They might have some stuff if you want something cheap.
I wish it was called Good Bill.
Oh, boy.
You can edit that out.
On that
all right, enough
note,
about my bullshittery. Joe, what do you got going on?
We'll do a little More You Joe. For the best segment of the show, as always, a reminder, you can become a member on our YouTube channel. Yes. So head on over to there. You can become a bare minimum member or a More You Joe member. Every little bit helps and is appreciated.
Yes.
And thank you for listening. If this is your first time listening to us, we have lots of old content on our YouTube channel, which you can check out. And follow us on social media at Mornin, Bill, and Joe. And that's it. We'll see you next week, y'all. Bye. That's all for this episode of Mornin with Bill and Joanne. Subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you get podcasts. For videos of this and other episodes, go to @Mornin, Bill, and Joe on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We would do it for you. Okay, that's a lie.